What's up guys, it's Punchy, and I've been noticing a pretty huge trend with Deepwoken mantras that might be a little bit insane as the game progresses. All I gotta say is that we have a lot of teleportation, TP abilities. Well, I don't think it's a bad issue or even really a problem, but think about the possibilities of monsters using these mantras because they can do that now. Having said this, you probably noticed that there are so many avenues for teleportation in this game, more specifically the ones that auto-aim to nearby targets. Of course, just to specify what I mean, I'm not talking about gap closers because we have a ton of those. I just mean teleportation moves that seek out the closest player and get to them instantly. Mantras that work similarly to Revenge or Heavenly Wind will be excluded from this discussion because they function separately without auto-locking onto a target, and yeah, I'll be skipping them. With these mantras that I'm talking about, you can't use them normally without being locked onto somebody else, and when you do move, you vanish and reappear to deal damage. You'll see what I mean in a second, but let's begin. Starting off with the first teleportation move that was made in Deepwoken, we have Rapid Slashes. Purely 100% scaling off light weapon, Rapid Slashes is a cheap 30-point mantra that's goated for starting combos and landing mix-ups on your target. In the past, everybody used to run this on basically any build, but recently it's been harder to find and see in combat. This mantra is essential for many light weapon players, and this is an unrivaled option that's been good and will continue to mess players up if there's even more TP options in the game. Moving on to another attunementless weapon mantra, we have the medium's Flash Draw Strike. So costing 25 agility and 60 medium, this option is fairly restrictive depending on your build, but it can definitely be useful. With its long windup, Flash Draw Strike has most likely the longest range out of all of the teleportation moves on this list, and it goes super far and throws enemies into the air. Despite having vast range, with a secondary attack, this mantra is one of the fairest teleports that I've seen in all of Deepwoken, and it's hard to pull off, but good when you do. Tacet Dropkick is another teleport mantra that could honestly use a buff. Requiring both the Tacet Murmur and Just Kurita, this option is highly restrictive and probably the most expensive mantra in all of Deepwoken. Without using Just Kurita, this mantra windup will be slower, but it's still okay, and by landing on your target, you get a stun for a few seconds, allowing you to land a secondary attack. That being said, it's just too easy to block this mantra, and there's very little you can do to confirm the damage of this teleportation option. Let's move on to some elemental attunement teleports. Jolt Grab's Magnet Spark is one of the fastest roll catches in the entire game that's almost universally picked on current Thundercall builds. With a near instant windup, it's possible to feint this mantra, and you do it again right after to catch players lacking, and I see this one feinted more than all of the other TPs. This low cost mantra allows you to get in, stunning the target and kickstarting your combo, so it's very easy to do and one of the most fun magnet sparks in all of Deepwoken. Another TP move basically TPs on its base, Shadow Casts in Circle. This teleportation is a little bit different, allowing you to delay your damage and stack secondary attacks on top, letting you do some very interesting combos that other TPs cannot access. It's a little bit difficult to pull off successfully due to the apparent windup, but it can be viable for using up enemy resources while stacking on other attacks. The final attunement related to teleportation attacks is a bit weird, but you know, I'll still count it. Inside Gale Breath's Spectre Path, players gain access to Phantom Step. Phantom Step grants the user a speed boost, Gale dashes, and our teleport, a backstab aerial. Functioning the same way as an aerial attack, this approach can be easily countered, but it's a mix-up that some players might not expect. Moving on, one of my favorite teleportation mantras, Radiant Kick, is a fairly basic oath option to slam players away while acting as a combo finisher. Due to its extended knockback and mid-range capability, Radiant Kick has zero purpose as a combo starter, but it's only really used as your finishing move. That being said, there are so many confirms into this kick, making it highly versatile and useful on many builds. It also helps that oath mantras, including Dawnwalker, bypass damage resistance fully, dealing true damage. The final true teleport attack I'll talk about is the Nemesis Enchant. I honestly brought this up a few days ago with its insane Just Kurita synergy, but I think it still applies to this list. Placing tags on your target, you can crit attack to instantly get in and slash them. It's pretty easy to parry or bypass, but if players waste their dodges, you can easily confirm this attack without doing much. I think it's valid. Now, I think that's all the damaging teleport attacks that only happen with a specific target. Yes, there's a ton of them, but they all work in a different way. With every single mantra, including these TPs, they have different idiosyncrasies or small ability-defining properties that make them diverse and, you know, they have variety. I wouldn't just say say, these are the same, it's another TP, because each of these mantras have a time and plays in certain combos and builds. Thinking about it, this might be absolutely insane, since monsters and mobs, I guess, they can use mantras and they can straight up chase you down forever with teleportation. That's gonna be crazy. Anyway, that's all for right now, but I'm working on some large projects, so keep an eye out. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can hit 70K by the end of this year, and as always, thanks again. It's punchin' time.